Hello, everyone. Today I'm here to talk to you about the 15 biggest mistakes in account-based marketing. My name is Declan Mulkeen. I'm the CMO of Strategicabm. We are an account-based marketing agency, specializes in working with B2B tech companies across the globe to help them to win, grow, and retain their most important accounts. Let's just move on to talk about this then. So I think the key thing to talk about here is this is kind of like an anecdotal summary. We run what we call ABM Lunch and Learn, and we've probably delivered somewhere around about 250, 300 workshops over the course of the last 3 years, talking to B2B technology companies, B2B marketers, account-based marketers, demand gen specialists. So we've got an awful lot of information, an awful lot of data from speaking to them about their programs, learning more about what works, what doesn't work, what they've found has been successful, and what they've found perhaps needed some fine-tuning. So some of the data that we're going to share today is based on that quite significant database of insights and anecdotes from our workshops. So I think it's important to say that I'm going to talk about 15 mistakes, but there's no particular weighting to each point. So as I go from 1 to 15, it's not that 1 is the biggest mistake and 15 is the least. It's just a way of presenting the information to you. And also bear in mind, this is not an exhaustive list. Clearly, there are more mistakes that people make when attempting account-based marketing, when launching a strategy. But this is just 15 that we found to be the most common. So I think the first one to start off with is, this is a really important one actually, is there's no real clear definition of what ABM means to you as a business. And I think that the key point here to mention is, if you don't define from the outset what it means, and by that I don't mean what's the definition of account-based marketing that you might find on some website somewhere, or you might ask ChatGPT. This is actually what it means to you and your business. We're all different. Our businesses are very different. So you have to sit down with your marketing colleagues, with your sales colleagues, even with your C-suite and your leadership. Define what it means to you and how it aligns to what you do. Number 2, no clear way of measuring what success looks like. Now this, if you start a journey and you don't know what the finish line looks like or where it is, you're going to struggle to finish the journey. So this is the same with account-based marketing. You have to, even before you start, you've got to create the dashboard. You've got to understand what good looks like, what success looks like, what you are defining as your success metrics. Write them down, make sure you're actually able to measure them. So don't be too adventurous at first with your measurements. Think about things that you can easily measure in terms of measuring the reputational impact of the work you do, the relationships and the impact you have there on building relationships within your target accounts, and then clearly the revenue upside from your activities. Write them down. Make sure everyone is in agreement on what these metrics are, because then when you report back, you'll have everybody on side, you'll have everybody agreeing, you'll have everybody congratulating you, and you'll be able to move forward perhaps from a pilot to a full-blown, or from moving from perhaps a one-to-many to a one-to-few to a one-to-one, etc. Accounts chosen by sales. This is something we see very, very often, even in significant large organizations where the marketing team are handed a number of accounts, named accounts, and they are asked to build an account-based strategy around those accounts. These are accounts that perhaps have been in the CRM. These are accounts that perhaps sales want to win. These are perhaps accounts that sales are currently talking to and want to help to win. But we always think that building an account list is a team effort. It's not just sales and it's not just marketing. It's never done in isolation. You got to work and use the anecdotal evidence, the data that your sales team are telling you, but also look at the data that's coming from your CRM, from your first-party data, from your third-party data, from intent data platforms. Use a whole host of data inputs to inform you whether or not the accounts chosen are the right accounts for your program. Otherwise, you may actually end up severely damaging somewhat the success of the program by starting with the wrong accounts. Number 4, going too broad with the accounts and or your ideal customer. Now, this is a little bit of, as you can see right down here, trying to boil the ocean or trying to bite off more than you can chew, or your eyes being bigger than your stomach. Go small, start with a pilot. Even if you start with 3, 5, 10 accounts, don't attempt to go 20, 50, 100, even 200. We've had conversations with some potential customers, and they've had 250 accounts for their first adventure into ABM, and that's just too many. So be more conservative at the beginning, get it right, experiment, and it'll pay dividends. Number 5, confusing ABM tactics with ABM. Now, this is something very often when I ask people, are you doing ABM? And people say, yeah, we're doing ABM. And I ask, well, talk me through what you're doing. And they may say, well, we're doing, targeted LinkedIn advertising. We're running some programmatic. We're sending some coffee card vouchers through some platform. We're running some display, etc. And I ask, is there more? Is there a strategy? Is there some joined up thinking around here? Are you working with your sales team, et cetera, et cetera? Generally, the answer tends to be no. So these are tactics. Some of them are ABM tactics. Clearly, you can use them in an ABM strategy, but unless they're part of a wider strategy, they're more than tactics. So be very wary, be very careful of trying to build a program around tactics rather than trying to build it around the actual strategy itself. Generic value proposition. Now, when it comes to a value proposition, this is obviously what value you bring to the market, what makes you different, speaking the language of the customer, and actually meeting their requirements. But very often what we find is that either a company might create or might use their existing value proposition, which has been working for their general marketing for their ABM program, or they might apply one value proposition to all verticals, all markets, etc. This is something that we urge people not to do. You need to be much more specific, much more relevant to the account or the vertical you're looking to target. Technology. This is probably one of the biggest points of discussion we find is when people get very lost when it comes to technology, and they very often associate ABM and technology. What we say to customers and to the market is it's always strategy first. The technology will come second. The strategy will decide the technology. The technology does not decide the strategy. So be very wary to go down that rabbit warren of technology, because otherwise you will get lost. Poor expectation management. This is something that we find happens very, very often. Set expectations at the beginning. If you've got a sales cycle of 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, and that's how you do business, because of the complexity of it, because of the sales cycle, because of the solution you're selling or the product you're selling is complex and complicated, how can you expect your ABM program to deliver before then? How can you say that you're expecting revenue to come in 6 months or 9 months when your sales cycle is 18 months? Try to align everything together. And then when you share that with the business, everyone will say, okay, I get it. So we're going to run something. Of course, we've got an 18-month program. I get we can't expect results before then, but let's see, measure and tell your teams, marketing, sales, leadership, what they can expect in the meantime, which will be uplift in brand, uplift in reputation, uplift in relationships, etc. You'll even see pipeline developed. And also, I mean, it is fair to say that account-based marketing does impact positively on a number of revenue metrics, including reducing the sales cycle, because you're targeting companies you've got a higher possibility of winning. But don't set off on this ABM journey with unrealistic expectations. Number 9, launching without alignment. Now, this is to do with not just with sales, but any other part of the business. ABM is not just marketing. Sometimes you hear people say that ABM is just good marketing. Well, I'm sorry, it's not. ABM is much bigger. And in fact, I think somewhat the M in account-based marketing is somewhat of a misnomer. This is an account-based strategy. This is a company-wide strategy. You're aligning your company strategy with your go-to-market strategy, with your ABM strategy. There has to be complete alignment across those three, and equally with any team involved in this process, whoever's involved with the customer, sales, customer success, account management. Get that alignment first before you start to launch. Misaligned resources. This is something we see quite a lot as well. This is where perhaps, for example, you've launched, a one-to-many program, you're using some technology to do some personalization. You're running some ABM program into 50, 100, 150, 200 accounts, and then everything's going, quite well. You now want to start doing one-to-few, perhaps because you want to target, fintech vertical, or you want to target certain buyers that you've identified that would be good for your business. When you step up from one-to-many to one-to-few and to one-to-one, it becomes more and more resource heavy. So be very careful that you don't limit your resources, that you don't realize the impact, that you do need more resources. So make sure you're ready. Superficial one-to-many. This is something we see very often, that people sometimes believe that one-to-many is just basically targeted demand generation. It's not. You need to do the legwork. You need to do the insights work. You need to understand the market you're targeting, the vertical. If you're targeting 100 companies within manufacturing, within pharmaceutical, within financial services, whichever. Work on a value proposition that will be relevant to that audience. Just do what we like to say. Just do ABM. Don't undervalue the importance of doing the hard work. Lack of data transparency. This is something when it happens within marketing, where perhaps you don't have access to all the data across your wider marketing team, but also if you're working with sales and you need to know, are the conversations taking place? Is that pipeline being generated? Has revenue been made, etc.? If there isn't transparency, you're going to find it very, very difficult to be able to report successfully and accurately on this program, and therefore you'll find it very difficult to get more investment for any expansion of this program. So work hard from the beginning on understanding your data, where it's held, what you can get access to, and making it as transparent as possible. No sense of us. This is really, really, really important. ABM, as I said before, it's not like any other marketing strategy. ABM is a team sport. You need to bring everyone on board, not just from your marketing teams, whether it's operations, whether it's brand, product, demand, all the teams that you can bring together into your ABM strategy, but also everybody else, from sales to customer success to C-suite leadership. Work hard. I think what sets ABMers, account-based marketers, apart from many, many, many other types of marketers is you need to have excellent communication, influencing, and persuasion skills. You need to work the floor. Or insight. And by this, I mean, ABM is all about insights into the industry, the vertical, the company, and the individuals that you're looking to target, you're looking to work with, you're looking to grow with, you're looking to expand with. You need to understand that insights takes time. You either do it internally, which sometimes can be different, or you engage an external agency such as ourselves or others to carry that insights work for you. But try not to skimp on this work, because the insights that you glean, the insights that you uncover and discover, these will actually inform everything in your campaign, from your value proposition through to your campaign strategy, through to your account experience, through to your messaging, etc., etc. Everything will come off it. Finally, poor account experience. Now, we talk a lot at the agency about account experience, and by that we mean the immersive online, offline, digital, physical experience that you take an account through. This can be everything from, manifestos, brand manifestos, through to digital assets, unique, engaging experiences, physical events, roundtables, peer-to-peer marketing, podcasting, a whole host of things that you can actually put into a joined up experience that actually takes the account and the individuals within that account through an experience of, education, influence, through to commit. So what we find is if you don't do the hard work of building that account experience, all the work that comes before in building the ICP, the account selection, the value proposition, etc., will all be lost. So really invest heavily here. and you'll see the difference. So education is a huge thing at our agency. We work really hard to help educate the market on what we believe good ABM looks like. So I would recommend you head over to strategicabm.com. There you'll find Dash Dot, which is our monthly dose of account-based everything. The May edition is out now. There's some great features in there around customer lifecycle marketing, around putting the customer at the center of everything you do, etc. We've got an ABM playbook, which is great to learn some ABM plays. And equally, we run an ABM workshop where we've done about 250, 300 of these with B2B marketers, where you can actually road test your ABM strategy with us wherever you are on your ABM journey, whether you haven't started yet, you're just starting, or indeed you're an experienced, mature ABM program. And finally, just to find myself, find me on LinkedIn, Declan Mulkeen. I think there's two of us. There's me, the marketer, and there's also a doctor. So I'm not the doctor. Check out my podcast, Let's Talk ABM. I've done about 55, 56 episodes now. Great guests from the likes of Google, Microsoft, HP, UiPath, Secure, etc., etc. Some really great guests there. Great insights into their ABM programs. And also check out our website. Thanks so much for listening to me today, and all the very best.